Alright, time to end this Q&A reboot with one of the longest topics. Entertainment, covering films, games, and so on. Oh boy, this is gonna be quite the marathon, so let's go. Brian Gonzalez, what movies have you seen in 2017 besides the MLP movie and the Beauty and the Beast remake? Well, let's see, I did see a few other films during that year, like a Lego Batman movie. That was a nice little spin-off to the Lego movie. Though I still find it odd how Clayface was voiced by a girl, but then again, that was a very, very minor character. Then there was also Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which I saw in the IMAX. That was really good. Lots of action, and blowing stuff up, and even got a little bit teary-eyed at the end. Oh yeah, there was another film that I saw called A Dog's Purpose that I remember watching in a film class in college. And that film was okay. Basically, it's this dog who spends most of his time with his owners. They grow up together, and then after he dies, he gets reincarnated into different dogs living in different lives. So if you're a dog lover, you'll most likely enjoy this film. But for me, I thought it was okay. I do like dogs, but I'm more of a cat person. Unfortunate Implications, least favorite Pokemon movie. Sorry, haven't seen, it's been too long since I've seen those Pokemon films. Not to mention that there's a lot of them that I have yet to see. I think the last one I saw was that one with the Manaphy and the pirate guy, and yep, that's it. I'm still interested in seeing that one movie that is like a retelling of the first couple of episodes of the TV show. And I think I've heard that there's another Pokemon movie that's actually a proper adaptation of the old Game Boy games. But yeah, who knows if I'll ever get around to seeing those. Harry Humble, do you collect games based on franchises or publisher? I think at first I used to buy games based on franchises, like Crash, Spyro, Kingdom Hearts, and whatnot. And even though I still kind of do that, I have opened up a little more to a variety with other publishers and developers. Especially when it comes to looking for games that would be fun to talk about on Forgotten Media. Next question. Does the Virgin Interactive logo scare you? No, not really. Matthew Ditchell, what is the worst game you've played? Aside from games like Sonic Colors or Into the Dragonfly that I hate because they bore me, I don't really have one that pisses me off to no when over unfair difficulty or game-breaking glitches and such. Guess I'm just that lucky in picking out games that I like. Nathan Lofoga, ever played Ratchet & Clank, and if you have, what do you think of the games? Sorry, never played Ratchet & Clank, although I do have the PS3 Trilogy bundle, so one of these days I'll delve into that franchise. Not to mention I also have the Ratchet & Clank mangas that were released in Japan, so those will be fun to talk about in Forgotten Media one day. Googie, favorite Team Fortress 2 class? Well, this is kind of an obvious one, but Engineer's always been my favorite class. He's more the calm and collective guy, which I can relate to in some ways. Other than that, I also enjoy playing Pyro and Heavy, and sometimes Sniper when I'm in the mood. The Useless Time Lord, are you interested in the 11th series of Doctor Who? Yes, I've been meaning to try and get back into Doctor Who for a while. I got into the series during Matt Smith's final season, so he was pretty much my first Doctor. After that, I decided to do the most crazy thing and go back and spend 2.5 years of my life watching all 26 seasons of classic Doctor Who, plus the movie, which I already reviewed that film. I haven't gotten into the more modern Doctor Who episodes, so I haven't seen anything with Christopher Eccleston. I haven't seen anything with David Tennant, aside from that 50th anniversary special they did with Matt Smith and David Tennant. And I've been a little on and off with Peter Capaldi's run. I was going to watch the more modern Doctor Who episodes on Netflix, but by the time I was wrapping up classic Doctor Who, they decided to remove them. And this is why I'm not really into Netflix that much, because of their bad habit of constantly removing shows, films, and so on. Anyway, I really don't have much to say. Haven't seen any episodes with new Doctor, or current Doctor, or whichever one it was. It is neat seeing a female Doctor for a change. It's already been proven that Time Lords have the chance of switching genders when regenerating, and heck, the idea of a female Doctor was already talked about years ago during classic Doctor Who's time. So I'm looking forward to the 11th series, when I finally get around to catching up. Luke Langer, what do you think of the Moxie Show and the Buzz on Maggie? I've heard of the Moxie Show, one of the earliest original shows that Cartoon Network had. Already had plenty of people asking me to do that on Forgotten Media, and I have been thinking about it. It'll most likely be part of Mixed Bash or whenever I get around to doing more of those. As for Buzz on Maggie, I vaguely remember it's something about flies and this gal wants to be a rock star or something. Of course, that's another thing a few people have asked me to do on Forgotten Media. Next question. What is the worst game console besides the CDI, Jaguar, and Atari 5200? I'm not really the right guy to answer that. I don't really have any terrible game consoles. Jeremy Crane, what are your thoughts on Overwatch? Overwatch looks cool, sounds cool, but I've never played it. If I did, I'd most likely get the PC version, so I assume that's the one that gets the most updates and bonuses, while the console versions are neglected. Yeah, kind of like with the Steam versions of Team Fortress 2 and Sega All-Stars Racing Transform, how they get the most content added, while the console versions are pretty much just abandoned. But yeah, I would like to try out Overwatch one day. Next question. If you have Netflix, have you ever watched Stranger Things? Ah yes, Stranger Things, another one of those popular TV shows that I completely missed out on, because I really don't watch TV. And I think I already mentioned before about my gripe with Netflix and how they have a bad habit of constantly removing things. Not to mention the fact that Stranger Things is a Netflix exclusive show, so what if this gets removed as well? How will people be able to watch it if it's not available on digital or home media releases or whatnot? Other than that, I've seen tons of merchandise for it all over GameStop, but I've never seen the show, so I have no idea what it is. Next one, any thoughts on Cuphead? Yes, I have played through and beaten Cuphead on Steam. It's a lot of fun, even though it's a little weird trying to play that game with a keyboard. It's like, yeah, you can shoot directional, but doing it on the keyboard is very finicky, and I have no idea how to get a controller hooked up with Steam. Maybe I'll get the Switch version one day, who knows. But yeah, I do like the art style. Nice little throwback to the old days of animated cartoons. Max Fletcher of iWorks, all those rubber hose cartoons that you don't see anymore these days. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Frustrating, but very fun. And I'm looking forward to the DLC for this game, whenever it gets released. Tanuki Raccoony Studios, do you have a Nintendo Switch? Well, if I'd answered that sooner, I would say no. But now, yes, I do have a Nintendo Switch. I got that as a birthday present one time, along with a fancy gold variant of the Tataku Crash Bandicoot figure. So far, I've played games like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, nice puzzle game, Mario Odyssey, it's a lot of fun, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so that I didn't have to get the old copy and pay for all the DLC stuff. And of course, Smash Bros. Ultimate. I already gushed my hout out about Banjo-Kazooie being a playable character. Other games, I don't think I have that many. I know it's slowly starting to grow, but other games I have for the Switch are the Switch ports of Crash Insane Trilogy, and recently the Switch port of Spyro Reignite Trilogy. So now I can have my childhood games on the go, hooray! And I've been thinking of getting hooked up with that Nintendo Switch Online. The reason why it took me so long to decide to do it was mostly due to miscommunication, because like, oh, okay, so the Switch Online thing is paid. And for the longest time, I misheard that. I thought it was gonna be you had to pay $20 a monthly fee just to use the frickin' internet. But recently my brother-in-law clarified it. It's like, no, it's only $20 for the 1-year subscription. Which is definitely a lot cheaper than PlayStation's 1-year subscription where you had to pay $60. So yeah, for the longest time I always thought it was a $20 monthly fee, but nope, it was just a $20 for a 1-year subscription. But yeah, hopefully I'll get around to that. Next one, will Kingdom Hearts be on the Switch? If I had a dime whenever I see someone saying, will this game be on the Switch? I don't know. If Nintendo and Square Enix can come to an agreement about featuring Cloud and some elements from Final Fantasy into Super Smash Bros., then who knows? I can see the HD remakes working on this. Ultra Reject, console or PC? I don't know. I like both. Sometimes I'll be playing console gaming, like obviously these days I've been addicted to CTR Nitro Field. Or sometimes I'll be on Steam, mostly just messing around in Gary's mod. So yeah, I like to just go back and forth with that stuff. Stupid Star Sonic, favorite game? Well, my favorite game is a lot of them. Well, off the top of my head, the ones I can think of is Spyro and Crash Remastered games, along with a majority of its games. Mario Odyssey, Kingdom Hearts 2, Gary's mod, and the list just goes on and on and on and on. So, yeah. Next one, favorite music? You mean like favorite type of music or just music in general? I usually listen to a lot of video game music, whether it be retro or modern. Yeah, I'm one of those weird ones when it comes to music. Red Ben 12, have you heard of BattleBots? I think so. Is it that one TV show where a bunch of these mutated metallic cars fight each other? I remember seeing commercials for it, but I don't think I've actually seen a single episode. And next question related to that, if you made a BattleBot, what would it be named? I don't know, the Trash Collector. That's the best that I could come up with. Tyler Shimp, considering that Bubsy and Medieval were games that you covered on Forgotten Media, what are your thoughts on them getting a revival or remastered, respectively? Yeah, I covered those games on Forgotten Media, and looking back on them now, they've become some of my least favorite episodes. Medieval is just one of those episodes I decided to do right before the franchise would sort of make a comeback with PlayStation All-Stars, much like with Serious Sam episode that I did. And I stopped doing that because I just kind of felt it was pointless. Nowadays, I try to cover a popular franchise's less-known topic, so one example I can think of is Ty 4 from the Ty the Tasmanian Tiger series. And then Bubsy. I don't know why I bothered doing that on Forgotten Media. It seems how everyone knows about this character. Although I guess back then, when I was making that video, nobody had really done a YouTube video that was a complete history on Bubsy at the time. They always covered some of his games, or most of the games, but they always left out Fractured Furry Tales, and usually the cartoon pilot. If I never made that episode and decided to do one now, I would most likely just cover Fractured Furry Tales, and that's it. And maybe do the cartoon pilot for a mixed match episode. Yeah, nowadays these two franchises are back. Yeah, Bubsy now having two games, one being Return to Platforming, and then the recent one that came out is basically Bit Runner, just with Bubsy characters. And then we've got the Medieval Remastered coming out. Looking forward to that one. Though it was quite an interesting experience I had when I first saw the teaser trailer for it. It's like, oh hey, they're remaking Medieval again, because we already got a remake on the PSP. But I guess now that's been clarified more as a reimagining. But eventually we got a proper trailer showing off gameplay, and just like Crash and Spyro, they've given us, old, full, recreated from the ground up, showing off what the game looked like back then, and here it is now, all fancy, ooh. So yeah, it looks cool. And then we got another one showing off more, some more dialogue, gameplay. I found it a bit jarring that the audio for at least like the second one that's about the story, that one's very jarring because the audio department is just all over the place. Because like first you hear the gargoyles from the original game, then you hear new stuff like the narrator and a piece of music from the new game, I assume. And then a good chunk of the rest of the music is just ripped straight out of Medieval Resurrection. So, not too sure about that. I mean, the music in Medieval Resurrection's fine. I guess in some ways I kind of like the original better. And from what I've been hearing, it seems like they're just gonna recycle the audio from the original game in this remastered. I guess I don't mind it much. I guess it's just, I found it jarring at first because I was so used to Crash and Spyro getting remastered that they went and re-recorded their lines, whether it was Crash using the current voice actors from the previous games. Spyro's case was similar, the only difference was that they actually did get some of the original actors to come back and re-record their lines. So yeah, I don't mind them recycling audio for Medieval Resurrection, the Medieval Remaster. It's pretty much the same deal with Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I'm pretty sure they're recycling audio there, which I don't mind. It sounded pretty good. But yeah, Medieval Remastered. Definitely looking forward to that. Though I wish the deluxe edition wasn't a PSN exclusive, but hey, I'll most likely get that just to check out the art book and the webcomic. I heard it's supposed to be like a prequel, or maybe it's based off of that cancelled Medieval 3 project. I'm not sure. It's a little muddled to me, but hey, it's close to October, so I'm looking forward to that game. Hylian Guy 38, what are your predictions for the upcoming Pokemon game for the Switch and your thoughts on the Persona games? Here's another outdated question. Yeah, updated new Pokemon game. I think it's that new one that's coming out, Sword and Shield. Didn't really have any much predictions, mostly because I'm just not that big into Pokemon. I just pretty much assume like, yeah, it's another game you go running around capturing things, and there you go, it's another thing where you go and run around capturing things. But nowadays there's been a lot of drama considering around Sword and Shield about removing decks. No idea what that is. Is it supposed to be, what, it's like this Pokemon calculator thing? What, it's like the Pokédex or something? I don't know. Yeah, my knowledge of Pokemon is very, very limited, so I have no idea about this current genre. As for Persona, I'm sorry, I've never played any of the Persona games. Especially nowadays, it seems like my only knowledge of the games is just Joker from appearing in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I know my sister has played some of the games, but I have no personal experience with it. PowerPup97, if you were the creator of your own Mario game, what would it be like? If I made my own Mario game, I guess I'd most likely be inspired by Epic Mickey in concept-wise, that, and I'd also be inspired by Sonic Overture. It's a fan-made game that pretty much puts Sonic in a world full of scrapped ideas and characters. Basically, my idea was that Mario is dragged into purgatory by Wart from Mario 2, and he has to deal with him and other lesser-known villains and minions, and meeting lots of other lesser-known Mario characters. Basically, all those characters that made one appearance in one specific Mario game. As well as traveling through different worlds, and in the Wart's Dream World, as well as the home world from Super Mario Land, and maybe the rest of the Land games. Although again, there's only 2, Mario Land 3, or whatever. Doesn't really count. But yeah, that's just my own muddled up idea for my own Mario game. Next one, what are your top favorite animated Disney movies that are not Pixar or sequels? Well, my top favorite animated Disney films. Here they are in no particular order from the ones that I've enjoyed the most. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Definitely one of my top picks. Guess I liked it for, simplistic films. But I also love the art style of the film. Very nice. Never seen any animated Disney film have a similar art style like that. Aside from that, it's amazing going through and looking back at its history with how it was the first full-length animated feature and all the trial and errors that Walt Disney had to overcome back then. It's very interesting. Alice in Wonderland, one of the most enjoyable film adaptations of the strange Lewis Carroll novel. And that'll be the original, not the pseudo-sequel that Tim Burton made. Beauty and the Beast, already reviewed the live-action remake, and I actually enjoyed that, but I still prefer the original animated classic. Hunchback of Notre Dame, definitely feels like one of the more adult Disney films, sort of. I have been hearing rumors about Disney giving this film the live-action treatment as well. And if it does happen, I'd like to see it be more based off the German musical. That's basically half Disney and half original source material. Funny enough, I've had some ideas in covering the German musical of Hunchback on Forgotten Media. The only problem is I can't find a video that's translated in English. I might have seen one somewhere, not sure if it's still around, but who knows. And the other one, Zootopia. Love the characters and the world for this film. Although I did consider it a bit overrated at the time, with all the hype surrounding it, but I eventually got over it, and I think I've been hearing talks that there's plans for a sequel, so that'll be interesting if it's real. Next one, what do you think is the most overrated Disney movie? Well, Frozen is an obvious pick, and yeah, that's it. I like the film and all, but yeah, I will agree, it is very, very, very overrated. MikeTrap397, thoughts on the House of Mouse? Yeah, I remember watching House of Mouse. Interesting, very entertaining concept with the whole idea of a bunch of Disney characters hanging out at a restaurant, cafe, while watching cartoons, and during all that there's all kinds of hilarity ensuing, whether it's Pete trying to shut down the studio, or Donald trying to distance himself from the Three Caballeros and trying to be more hip and cool with the kiddies. But yeah, fun stuff. Riley B, do you like Crispin Glover? At first I thought I'd never heard of the guy, but after a quick search, yeah, I kinda know him. But only from Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland and 9. I like his performance in those films, no idea what his other roles are like, so yeah, that's all I got. Next one, your favorite Back to the Future character? Well, I think I like Doc Brown, yeah, good old Christopher Lloyd. Other than that, I can't really think of much. It's been a while since I've seen the Back to the Future films. Next one, have you seen The Greatest Showman? What do you think of it? Sorry, never seen that film. Maple that guy, YT. Favorite and least favorite console? Well, my favorite video game console was the PS2. Love the games it had for it. Crash to Insanity, Kingdom Hearts, lots of great games. Least favorite, all I can think about is the Wii U. Poor neglected Wii U. Not only does it have a lack of variety with exclusive Wii U games, but the whole gamepad thing, I feel like it's used, doesn't really have, it's not really used at its full potential. Like, I like the idea of playing the games on the gamepad, but it's rarely used, and it seems like it's only worked with Nintendo properties, like Yoshi's Woolly World and Super Mario 3D World, Smash Brothers. But instead, it's just used for laying out the map of a quest or using the inventory for items for a majority of the games. So, yeah, basically the Wii U is just a console version of the DS. It's pretty much no wonder why Nintendo's been trying to sweep that under the rug now that the Switch is the new high and mighty console and basically what the Wii U should have been. Next one, favorite and least favorite video game characters from the 90s. Favorites is a tie between Crash and Spyro. Those two have pretty much become my childhood gaming icons. Especially considering the fact that Crash 3 was my first ever video game that I played, and it just so happened to have a demo for Spyro the Dragon. So yeah, that's how I got interested with those two. Least favorite, I don't know. One that I can recall was that stupid boss battle in Wily Castle Stage 1 in Mega Man 8. It took me forever to get past that freaking thing. Next one, thoughts on Activision and EA. EA, I really don't have much experience with that company. Definitely heard a lot of negative things about it, but I never really played any of the games, at least the ones they're more well known for, not just movie license games or ports or whatnot. Activision, I'm sure some people know that I pretty much had a grudge against them with how they held the rights to Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. They just didn't do anything with them for years. That is until the Insane Trilogy and Reignited Trilogy came along and brought the franchises back to life. Of course, nowadays there have been a lot of drama with the recent one, CTR Nitro Fueled, over because of the microtransactions and the pit stop. And really didn't faze me. It's like, for one, you can still collect Wampa coins the usual way, you know, doing adventure mode, races, challenges. The microtransaction thing is just optional, and even looking at the prices, it's only 3 options, and it's actually not that bad. Like, $10 is the highest you can go, and even with that payment, you get, like, a freaking ton of Wampa coins that you can clear out the pit stop pretty quickly. So yeah, it's definitely not as bad as your typical mobile phone game that heavily relies on microtransactions. And I can only imagine what horrors that NBA 2K20 will be bringing with its stuff. Shurshk. Interesting name there. What games do you think is overrated? Outside of Sonic Colors, yeah, just Sonic Colors. Next one. Have you played the Mario and Luigi games? If so, thoughts on it? Yeah, I played some of the Mario and Luigi RPG games. I played the original GBA game, had some fun there. It took me a while to beat the final boss. I had to grind to level up just to avoid its attacks or survive. Partners in Time, from what I've heard, it's usually considered to be the black sheep of the family, which probably explains why it's the only game out of the original trilogy not to get on the 3DS. But I played through it, and I remember liking it. But it also is one of those games where I got pretty far, got close to the end, and then I just stopped playing it for some reason. As for the others, I don't have much to say, I've never really played them. Bowser's Inside Story looks interesting, I'll most likely get the 3DS remake when I ever get around to getting it. Dream Team, I remember seeing the announcement trailer, but after that I honestly completely forgot about this game. Which is pretty sad, because it pretty much focuses on Luigi from what I've heard, and he's one of my favorite Mario characters. Then finally there's Paper Jam, another one that looks interesting to play. I like the idea of Mario from one dimension teaming up with another Mario from a different dimension. I'm sure that game has better context with the idea, unlike Sonic Forces that tried to do it where they just ended up retconning the entire franchise. Yeah. Low Bunny Boy, or Low Bunny Boy, or that guy that I keep pronouncing his name wrong. Have you noticed that Pengu has returned after a decade, this time in Japan under the title Pengu in the City? No, not really. I haven't really heard anything about it. What, is it supposed to be like Sheep in the Big City? But even during my trips to Japan, I didn't really see the show, or never heard of the show, and never even seen anything related to Pengu related in Japan. At least from the parts that I traveled over there. Although I did see some merchandise for Shaun the Sheep in Japan, which is rather interesting. I haven't really seen Shaun the Sheep either. I know that he's based off of a character from that one short with Wallace and Gromit, and that he somehow got his own spin-off series. But yeah, maybe one day I'll give Shaun the Sheep a look. As for Pengu, I don't really know much about it. I just noticed that penguin stop motion, and he goes newt newt constantly. Next one. Have you heard of the video game series Eggerland, or Adventures of Lolo, which is mainly about Lolo and Lala before they came to Kirby Right Back At Ya, or in some other Kirby games? I might have heard of Adventures of Lolo, but that's it, never really played the games. My only main exposure to those two characters that you mentioned was from Kirby Right Back At Ya. Haha. Birds of Destiny, your favorite type of hybrid animation? Hybrid animation. Does rotoscoping count? I kinda like that. Other than that, all I can think of is traditional animation with CGI when it's done right, like with the Iron Giant. The CGI robot having a more cel-shaded look in some ways, and it just blends very well with the traditional animated world that it's in. This actually kind of reminds me of a draft that I wrote for a script writing class in college, where it was a movie idea about two types of people. The TA, which are the traditional animated style characters, and the CP, they are the CGI characters, who think they are superior and they think traditional animation is outdated. And then the evil LA, the live action group, they invade the planet and they're trying to make, everything pure. So it's up to a young CP character and then the older TA character to team up and stop them. So yeah, not only was it more of a buddy picture, but it's more of a satire on film entertainment in general, with how CGI is dominating the animation industry alongside live action films. Like, when you go to a movie theater and they show all the films, the only types that are playing are just live action and CGI. That's it. Sure, every now and then you might see a stop motion film pop up, but not much. Only on very rare occasions. And the next question, what do you think about the reboot animation? You mean the animation from the show Reboot? I barely remember that. I remember it being weird, and that's it. Probably should have been a little more specific with that question. Sorry. Lupergrinus. Have you ever played the 2014 indie game Freedom Planet? Yes, I have played Freedom Planet. I played through Lilac's story, got pretty far in that game, and then I just stopped playing it for no reason. Yeah, so now it's just sitting right next to Undertale, Epic Mickey 2, and the 2009 Ghostbusters game as part of my collection of video games that I have yet to beat. But yeah, I do like the gameplay, the characters, Mila being my favorite out of the trio. She's so freaking adorable. Yeah. And, oh right, there's a sequel being made. Yeah, I honestly keep forgetting that a Freedom Planet 2 is going to be a thing. Probably because of the fact that the sequel idea has rarely been advertised. Yeah, so, not sure how that's going to do. It kind of gives me a lot of flashbacks to Shovel Knight King of Cards, the upcoming DLC, the big final DLC where you play as King Knight, and the damn thing hasn't even come out yet. Like, I think it was shown off in 2016, and the thing still hasn't come out yet. It's annoying. I feel like we're reaching Mighty No. 9 territories with that game. Yeesh, okay, got distracted again. Alright, next question. Catholic controversy. Did you see Pokemon the movie I Choose You in theaters, and thoughts on the film? I remember seeing posters everywhere when it was debuting in Japan during my vacation over there. But no, I haven't seen the film. It looks interesting. I've heard that it's like some sort of retelling of the first couple of episodes from the Pokemon anime. But other than that, yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Next question. Have you ever been to the Fathom event? No, I have no idea what that is. And I'm cutting the video off there. It's already freaking long as it is. I still got plenty of other questions left to do for this entertainment category. So until next time, in the next 12 years or so,